Well, this is the Nav Station aboard SV Rock Chalk. As you can see, over the years, it's sort of become this mishmash of wires and components. Currently, it's got a black box VHF, an AIS, a Watchmate 650 that I'm still working on trying to get hooked up. Been trying to get that going for the last year and a half. I just haven't been able to get the wiring right. It's got my NEMA 2000 backbone, a setup for hooking up a Raspberry Pi, 2 powered USB strips, a monitor that I run off a 12 volt, and like I said, it's just become the wiring has become out of control. So one of the things I'm doing during this haul out is I'm going to take all this out, mount it on a board up above it in that shelf, and really get it all cleaned up. So I just wanted to share with you what it looks like from the start. Alright, let's fast forward now, and you can take a look here at the start of what this project's going to look like. Here you see the board cut to fit up on that upper shelf, and the first of 2 bus bars installed, the SciTech VHF, the NEMA 2000 backbone, and the beginning of the wiring. Now here past the NEMA 2000 backbone, you see sort of a big open spot on the board. This is where the Raspberry Pi, the SSD, and other components needed to run the single board low voltage secondary navigation system is going to go. Now, moving off the new construction board, coming up here, you're going to see the upper shelf in the Nav Station. This is where that board's going to be fitted in, up on that shelf, back up against the outer hull. All the wiring will be fed down in between the hull and the inner lining, and with excess either being up in that space or behind the board as it's mounted up in there. What is a Raspberry Pi? No, it's not a dessert served hot with ice cream. It's what's called a single board computer. Runs off a chip used in cell phones, and it runs Linux system. Has USB ports, HDMI ports, and the ability to put expansion items on top of it. So here you see the layout of a typical Raspberry Pi Model 3B, which is the one that I'm using. Now, for those of you who are wondering, you can buy the Raspberry Pis at a lot of different places. I get mine through Amazon. They cost about $35. Now, yes, you've got these items can be ordered from Amazon just to get it up and running. First of those is a case. Next, you'll need to get a micro SD card, minimum of 8 gigs. I recommend 32 to 64, especially if you're going to store charts. Now you'll need to get a power supply, and if you're not going to run it off your AC, you can run it directly off your DC if you put a 5-volt voltage regulator, which is what I'm doing. And yes, these items can be purchased at Amazon as well. Here we see the wiring work progressing along. What you see here is the positive side being wired up for the individual components. These wires are being covered with a blue flexible chafe protection, and also you can see the fuse holder there for the VHF radio. This chafe protection comes in multiple colors. I'm using blue with a silver stripe for the positive side and black with a silver stripe for the negative side. These can be purchased from multiple suppliers on eBay. Here's a close-up Busbar showing the X. And then next to that, you'll see for the power required to run various items in the Raspberry. Now below that is the power run that's going to supply Busbar number 2, which you see here. And then next to that is the location for the Raspberry Pi. So tune in next week and we'll see an update on what's going on with this project. Now here's a close-up of some damage that I found on the upper stripe. As you can see, it's punctured through to the underlying fiberglass layer. So what I'm doing is I ordered some pre-colored gel coat. I'm going to fill that in, sand it out, and then wax it up. With that gel coat repair work completed, it's not all hard work in the boatyard. Evening comes around and it's time to just enjoy the sights and sounds after a hard day working in the yard. With no wind and planning to unstep the mast, it's time to take down the sails. This weekend I'm going to take down the Genoa, drop it off the boat, get it folded up, and load it into the car, ready to be taken home and stored until we relaunch. Before we close out this week's vlog, just wanted to give you a quick update on how the hull work is going. Here we see the white section of the hull. It was sanded with 500 grit, 1000 grit, and 2000 grit, and then buffed with compounding twice, and then waxed. And after the wax had dried and hardened, then it was lightly buffed again, and here are the results. Here's an up close shot. Hopefully you can see the water beading up there. I think it came out good. Not too bad. So as always, I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody who's subscribing to the channel. If you're seeing the video for the first time, love to get you on board. Hit that subscribe button. If you think we're making progress, doing better videos, and giving you some useful information, give us a thumbs up. As usual, we always love the feedback, so tune in next week and see what's happening.